Hey guys, this video is going to be a little more serious, but I'm still going to try to make it as lighthearted as possible. This video will deal with the topic of pet loss, so if that's a hard subject for you to deal with, I'd advise that you skip this one. As you can probably tell by the title, I'm going to be needle felting. All the supplies came from my aunt and grandmother's shop where they raise their own sheep and use their wool. I know people normally do ASMR videos with needle felting, but I thought I would use this as a story time since it is a tribute. As I mentioned in a previous video, my family and I suffered a very traumatizing and unexpected loss. 3 days prior to this event happening, I went to the pet store and got a guinea pig. I decided to do this after I pet sat for my sister while she was away. She had 3 guinea pigs, and after getting to bond with them and take care of them, I loved them even more than when she first got them, which I didn't think was possible. They're just so cute and have such fun personalities. So I decided to go out and get my second pet. I have had Marley since I was 9 years old. I've had other pets too, along with her. I've had fish and hamsters, but she's obviously the one I've had the longest, and it's mostly just been us for several years now, so I thought it would be exciting to have a new addition to my little fur family. So my friend Tegan, her mom, and I all went to a pet store to get me a guinea pig. I was really excited to pick one out. I just wanted to find one that I really clicked with, you know? When we got there, it looked like the guinea pig section was entirely empty, but we decided to ask the employee anyway. And she said, "I think we might have one left." And I was like, great. So I'm not going to know if I was meant to have this one. I really wanted to, see one and pick it out. And looking back, that was really narrow-minded of me. We went over to the enclosure, and there wasn't a guinea pig in sight. But then she lifted up the little hut that they like to hide under, and there he was. This very quiet, sweet-looking, skittish, white, fluffy little thing with red eyes. He was so adorable, and when I saw him there by himself, I said, "Hey there, are you all by yourself?" And the pet store lady said, "Yeah, we just sold his last friend a few days ago," and that broke my heart. He had been there by himself without his friends for several days, and to know that he was the unwanted one, it just broke my heart. I knew then and there that either Tegan or I would be taking him home because Tegan was also looking for a guinea pig. I ended up taking him, and I'm so happy that I did. When the lady lifted up the enclosure for her to pick him up so I could hold him, he actually ran all around this giant glass cage that he was in. She could not catch him, so she actually had to use a butterfly net to scoop him up, and I thought that was so funny. When I was holding him up close, his eyes looked huge. He looked so terrified, and I don't blame him. Your house is lifted up and then you're handed to some stranger. I knew he was scared, but I tried my best to calm him. I pet him, and I looked at him, and I realized he looked like Falkor, the luck dragon from Neverending Story. But I thought Falkor was too hardcore of a name for him. Also, I wasn't going to name him Luck Dragon, because that's just weird. And then it just clicked. Tone it down to Atreyu. And Atreyu was only supposed to be a placeholder name until I decided on something, but it just stuck. So I brought Atreyu home. He had a new cage, he had a new family. I was really nervous about how the cats would deal with him. One of them just stayed away, and the other was actually pretty interested. I was giving him floor time, and I left his cage door open while I was watching him on the floor, and Dot actually jumped into the cage and laid down, so I thought that was funny and probably a good sign. When Atreyu eventually warmed up after a few months, he really came out of his shell. I got to see his personality. He was funny, he was cute, he was curious, and sometimes he got a little too excited with the other pets, if you know what I mean. But, it's okay. He did not like treats. He loved vegetables. He didn't really care for fruit, and he did not like treats. But yeah, veggies were his go-to. His favorite were green beans. But, if it was a veggie, he'd eat it regardless. I loved the sound of his week. Every morning when he'd hear my voice, he'd start weeking at me because he knew it was breakfast time. He would also week when I'd open the fridge because he knew that veggies were kept in there, and that was one of my favorite things he did. And popcorning. I remember the first time he popcorned, it took a long time. I was worried he'd never do it, because I know some guinea pigs just don't, but every time he popcorned, it just melted my heart. It was one of my favorite things in the whole world. He also really loved Christmas carols. I called him my Christmas Piggy, because if my math is correct, his birthday is actually the day after Christmas. So anytime I would listen to Christmas music, he would week along with it very loudly, and he'd be very happy, and that also really made me happy. Shortly after I celebrated his first birthday, he started acting funny. He wasn't eating, and he was lethargic. He wasn't himself, so I brought him to the vet immediately. And just 3 days after that, despite giving him his medicine and, force feeding him and everything, he didn't make it. I'm not going to get too deep into the depressing parts about it. Atreyu was such a happy piggy, and I want to keep that going by remembering the happy things more than the sad things. I truly believe that there was a reason he was the only pig left, and we ended up together, and I can't get over how crazy of a coincidence the timing is that I got him just 3 days before this horrible thing happened, and he and Marley both really helped me out. And seeing them form a bond also really helped me out too. It made me very happy. I remember when I got Atreyu, he was staying at my dad's with my sister, and I would go and visit him every day and stuff. And I got tired of that, I wanted him to come live with me. So, after a month or two of begging and pleading for Kevin to let him stay with us, he finally agreed to it. And he even grew to like him too. Every morning, Atreyu would week at him when he would come and get ready for work, and I guess Kevin really liked that, and they formed a bond as well. I wouldn't take back a thing. The only thing I regret is that I didn't get more time with him. But I am so, so grateful for the time that I did get with him. So, needle felting. I haven't needle felted in years. I took a few classes with my aunt and grandma when I was maybe 8 or so, and I was never very good at it. And, this is proof of that. But, it came out better than I expected. It doesn't do Atreyu justice, that's for sure. I promise Atreyu is way cuter than this. I also couldn't do his little chicken butt because it was just hard to get the wool to stick. So I just gave him his little afro, his mad scientist afro. I would definitely like to practice needle felting more, so if that's something you'd like to see, maybe I can do more story times or just ASMR if you get sick of my voice. Let me know. Thank you all for listening. Bye. Atreyu, smile!